name is Diana Lynn. I'm the co-founder and former president, past president of the Heartland Song Network. And I'm here this evening with Damaris, an artist from the thriving metropolis of Humboldt, Kansas.
That's right.
And she is serving as our Artist of the Month for February 2025. Welcome.
Thank you.
How's the experience been so far? We're kind of halfway through this short month already.
I've really loved it because I do, like personally, I'm in the nonprofit area of my life. So to be able to partner with you guys or collaboration, I saw what your mission was. And so it's actually making me think of new ways to market myself and nice to see how other people look at, can read what I have going on and then create what they want to create about it and stuff, based off of the material I supplied. So it's nice to see the different points of view. And so it's been great.
Yeah, I think that, we've got 4.5, almost 5 years, well, actually, right at 5 years experience now with
Mhm.
highlighting different artists of the month that have really run the gamut in the genres, everything from classical music to hip hop to country rock. It's been quite an eclectic mix, and
Yeah.
there are some you kind of bedrock similarities between how people find their way into a so-called lyrical life, but everybody's got to find their own way, and
Right.
you have a different one or a unique one, just like this
Mhm.
that's unique and unusual for yours. And we've been sharing on our social media pages your background and how you came to lead this lyrical life that you live. I thought what we might try to focus on this evening are kind of the three prongs or the three main focuses of the mission, which you alluded to before, the Heartland Song Network.
Okay. I would love that. Yeah.
So, the mission is to empower the art of songwriting through education, collaboration, and mentorship. So, let's talk about your musical education, whether it's formal or
Okay.
DIY. What's your educational background?
I'd say it's pretty eclectic because I grew up around music. If you read my bio, I had dancing grandparents that were very into dance, all different ballroom dancing type stuff. So music has kind of always been inside of me. My first love was dance, and then but my dad was in a band, and so I grew up with him playing lead guitar and stuff. So I always loved music in every way, and I love my dad could always play any instrument that he picked up. So I found that kind of neat. So over the time, I've learned in an education way, actually in lessons or in school, violin and flute. And then I took piano lessons. And so I've had a little bit of a journey of in the education way of being able to read music and try different instruments. But it was really when I was 20 that I asked my dad if he would teach me guitar. And when he taught me that, it's kind of like all of my worlds collided because um, I was already a writer. And then that was the right instrument. It's almost like, what was the right instrument? And then the right instrument found me.
Right. I've talked to a lot of songwriters over the years that even though their primary instrument now is the guitar, that a lot of them started with piano. And when it comes to writing songs, a lot of them do it on the piano first and
Oh,
then
yeah.
are able to transpose it or whatever to a guitar or ukulele or
Yeah. Mine was
mandolin.
backwards. Mine
Yeah.
was guitar, then piano. I mean, mine was writing songs on my guitar, ended up making me learn them all on piano.
I think I read or I saw an interview where you said even though your dad was musical and taught you how to play the guitar and play the guitar himself, that he never really wrote a song or was not,
Right.
a creative or generative artist in that way. When you took that path, did he try to encourage you, discourage you from this path? What was
Well, I was
what was
I
the
was
vibe?
20 when I started it, right? The path of when I got the guitar meets my writing. And I was private about it. I really didn't tell anybody about it. I just even my dad, I don't know why, but it was just personal experiences that I wrote about the same way that I would journal. So it became more of a musical journal to me. And I really kept them quiet. I don't know if my dad ever heard a song that I wrote and, until 27 years after I had written it.
Wow. Well, better late than never.
And then he was like, and then he later, he's like, wow,
Yeah.
you've
Well,
done a lot. I've listened to you on YouTube today, and there was about 2.5, 3 hours of content of you. And I'm like, yeah, Dad, this is what I've been doing for a while now. So, but no, once he realized, because it was 2019 when I put an album out, but that album was every decade of my life, music I had written. And I put the album together for my kids because they were growing up and I wanted them, they also didn't know that I wrote music. And I just thought, what if something happened to me and they never would have known that a song was created out of me, right? Because we all love music too. They love music too, all kinds of bands and everything. But so yeah, when he heard that, he's my father, going back to my father, he was more in a regretful mode where he wishes he would have written songs. Like he didn't know, he played a lot of covers. He was in honky tonk blues, played at, dive bars, and that's what people like to hear. And he was a great guitarist, so he just did that.
is he still
And
with us?
he is not with us anymore. Is that what you asked?
Yes, yes.
He passed in 2022,
Yeah.
but
So,
he got to see me standing strong and serious in this
yeah.
space. So I feel good about that.
What
And in the end, the truth is he taught me a guitar riff when I was probably 2021, just to practice my warm up. And I played that thing for 25 years. And then I put lyrics to it. So he did write a song. We have a
yeah,
co-written song.
yeah.
He knows that, but it's just never thought about it.
Well, and if you are of a mind that energy, that his energy is still around,
Mm-hmm.
there's no reason why he can't collab, with you now. And
So he collabed right on that song. It's called Internal Dialogue because he wrote the music for it. I wrote the lyrics for it. I freaking love it. And then, I mean, I love the special component of it. But as he got about 2022, well, he passed in 2022. About a year before that, because he did get inspired about never writing a song, he wrote some lyrics and he emailed them to me and he went through the process. So I have one song of lyrics. Now I got to put the music. So we are going to end up with two songs together.
yeah, no, do you know who Melinda Mullins is? Are you familiar with Melinda
No.
Mullins? She's from Springfield, and her daddy, Johnny Mullins, was a janitor down in the Springfield school district, and he
Yeah.
he wrote songs, and he actually wrote songs for people like Loretta Lynn, and
Oh, nice.
but he never stopped being a janitor. It's kind of a weird thing. Well, she has come across literally boxes of lyrics and music that nobody knew existed,
Yeah.
that weren't finished or whatever. So she's
Uh-huh.
made it one of her lifelong projects to complete, not only to get out the music that he had written that nobody had heard, but I think to maybe finish some songs that were unfinished, or put music to the words.
Yeah. That makes me get really teary eyed thinking about it because it is really special.
Yeah, it is. And
Yeah.
there are generative artists that are just lyricists.
Mhm.
Um, the most famous one that comes to mind for me is Elton John and Bernie Taupin. Elton doesn't write the lyrics. Um, he writes the melodies.
Mhm.
Bernie writes all the
Well,
words.
I'll tell you, my dad wrote a lot of melodies in his life.
Yeah,
He could free flow any melody on an instrument.
yeah,
I wish I would have understood what that meant a long time ago, so I could have captured some of that. But he was always showing me the stuff
yeah,
he needed.
yeah. Well, that's
Right?
that's that's pretty special. I think that
Yeah.
I'm in awe of those of you that can do that. I've tried over the years to play piano,
Oh
u-
yeah.
ukulele. I love to sing, but I don't have the nerve to do it in public.
Why?
I've just recently joined, I'm 74 years old. I recently joined a community choir for the
Okay.
first time, and that allows me to sing with others, and I don't have to carry the burden.
Uh-huh.
But it's been very it's fun. And
Yeah.
I finally feel like I can, participate in this world that I'm so immersed in,
You're
all of
so
it.
immersed, and I've known of you for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I say it all the time. You guys are my first responders. I can't do what you do. And so
Mhm.
for me to get to where I'm at, I've got to have songwriters
Yeah.
to do it for me. Well, let's talk about collaboration a little bit. I've been listening to Damaris music all day in the house, Wes.
Okay.
And I'm a real fan of some of the instrumentation choices that you've made it on your recordings.
Okay.
So I wonder if we can talk about, where you've recorded, who you've recorded with, and
Hmm.
what informs some of the decisions that you've made on the instrumentation on your recordings.
Well, okay, in 2019, the first album called Comes Up by My Fire. It really was meant for me to put something together for my kiddos, right? And I went through my 20s, 30s, 40s. I wasn't 50 yet, I was 47, of songs that they could get to know who I was outside of being their mother, right? Just who is Damaris as this woman in life. And so at that time, I knew two men, one guy named Tate McCoy out of Eureka, and another guy,
Eureka
Tim,
Springs, Arkansas.
just Eureka, no, Eureka, Kansas.
Oh,
And then another friend out of our Independence with Pi Studios. And both of them kind of had their own home style studio stuff, and they'd done stuff on their own too. So it wasn't experimental. It's stuff that they had worked on, but not they didn't have a big studio and everything. But both of them are great musicians, and so for the first album, both of them helped me, and I had no idea at all what to do. I knew that I know what a band sounds like because I grew up with my dad in a band. Right, my dad was in a band, so I knew what a bass. I knew what all of those pieces could be. My brothers are drummers. Two of my brothers are drummers, and so I definitely wanted to record full sound because I can do me all day long, but I could never have that. And so I really enjoyed the producing aspect of being back there and talking like, this is the vibe that I feel, this is what I'm thinking. And then them just coming back. They all had different Pi Studios is one. Can you give me an example of the interesting choice of instrumentation? Because we did whatever we wanted. Like we put
well,
whatever we wanted in them.
I just know you as a singer-songwriter where it's just you and your guitar.
Yeah.
And so just the fact that you chose to have other instruments,
Yeah.
your recordings, bass and drum. And did I ever hear a banjo or
Yeah, not banjo, mandolin. So there's
mandolin,
like trombone, accordion, fiddle,
harmonica, maybe?
harmonica, probably. Yeah,
Yeah.
harmonica, yes. These castanet.
Yeah.
It's just whatever it felt like, you
Right.
know. Um, and also, what in Pi Studios, he was kind of like whatever he felt like. He's like, "What do you think about this?" And I'm like, "I love it," because the first one is just completely me not really knowing what I'm doing, full of personality. Of I love it all. I was just trying to breathe all those songs, life into those songs, but also kind of in a standard. There was a standard way, which you have guitar, bass, drum, rhythm, singer, right? And um, and then the second album was out of a very professional recording studio, and he is a multi-instrumentalist, so really anything that I wanted, that was all, so those were all true instruments that he put into this. So in the first studio we might have used some of the MIDI board to create some of the sounds that we wanted. And so I probably just all over the place.
Do you like the recording process? I mean,
Absolutely.
do you go in there prepared, or is it
Yes.
more like I mean, time is money,
At
It's
this point, I'm completely prepared. The first one was just, like I said, I didn't know I would do a second one. I didn't know anybody would even care.
right.
So it really was meant for this one specific thing, and it turned into something different. And now I'm just following wherever it takes me. But then the second album, um, I knew then I have tons of songs. I'm like, I have more songs I need to record. And so that one, I hired this guy. He's so good at Green Jean Studios out of Wellington. He's an Emmy Award winning guy. And so I'm very organized with that. I will send him chord progressions, the way that the way the song sounds, what I'm thinking about with it, the instruments that I hear in it. And when we get there, we're bam. We do 2.5 songs a day. You can walk out radio ready. He mixes it and everything within that time that you're there. So it's very, you just got to be ready to be prepared. And I was, yeah.
You think that you have an advantage that this is happening at this point in your life versus you being given these opportunities when you were in your 20s?
It's hard. I mean, in my 20s, I wasn't even thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I was a mom.
Yeah.
And so I've just been mom. And then when they start growing up and my first one left, then when my second one was getting ready to leave, that's when I thought, oh my, I should do this. Well, it wasn't that I should go play music. It's that I should give my kids the CD,
Right.
right? Now where I'm at is different. Um, I got booked for the Kansas State Fair right after that. And then I was like, oh, so I better go figure out how to sing this in front of people. And once I did that, then I have a love for it. And um, I don't know what the advantage would be, except that I don't have to worry about kids at home. I have a day job, so this is my passion. I
Right.
can do as much as I want or as little as I want, but I want to do as much as I can all the time. So I have a lot more freedom, and I'm smarter now.
Yeah. I think that, I mean, I'm all for folks self-actualizing when they're ready, you know. What I worry about, and I have an artist that's going to be on my show Friday that I
Right.
think may still be in high school or just recently out, so very, very young.
Mhm.
And it's very I try to take such tender care of those kids when they come in and I know it's their first time on the radio or maybe the first time that they've been interviewed. And it's just very um, I don't even know what the right word is for me. It's very satisfying for me to be able to see people in all different tranches, you know, that the
Oh yeah.
um, of their path, and that most people in the Heartland, most artists in the Heartland have to have what I call a Joe job. You know, we're not as a society generally willing and able to support people, support the arts in a way that they can do it exclusively. And not have to have some other job. Let's tell the folks very briefly what your day job is, because I think I've been to Humboldt. I think it's one of the most amazing places on the planet. I tell people about it all the time. Um, it's just seems like a little slice of heaven
It is.
if you're going
I
to live
want
in
to
a
let
small
me
town. So let's tell the folks about your Joe job, as I call it.
I will. Let me go one more back to collaboration because I forgot to add the very last thing that I have done is I've recorded a couple more songs with
Hmm.
another recording studio, Matthew Mullinex. And one is like I love to do remixes because it's so much fun to be in the studio and change your songs up. Like you could have endless compositions of the way one song is. So I hear it different ways. And so I've gone back with him. So that's my most recent recording collaboration is with him. And I've got a couple songs to release. But Humboldt, Kansas, yes, we are. I will come at you from a community development conversation here. This is the work I've been doing for a long time. I work for a philanthropical organization. Humboldt, Kansas is 1.5 square miles. It's been going under a mass revitalization for the last several years. And we're getting really, really close to completing a lot of things and making it a destination location. And so we've added our restaurants and trails, and we're doing a music venue called Revival Music Hall. So that's going to be really cool. All genres, different shows, a real rock and roll, hip hop, whatever kind of music venue.
And I've been there, and
And
it's a beautiful space in that
oh
former church,
yes.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
music is so much, it has the potential to be such a driver of economic development. I mean, it
Yes.
is a driver of
Yes.
economic development. And for a small town like
Absolutely.
Humboldt to accept that premise and run with it is fabulous. And I think that do you get contacted by other municipalities asking for guidance on how you guys have done what you've been able to do?
We do a lot all the time. We are very happy to share our story over and over and over again. I will say, I can give you a couple little stats since we're kind of talking in that lane. We do a thing called a music crawl. And so that's, I will book somebody every hour on the hour in a different business. And this is because now we have businesses, right? So we didn't 3 years ago, but now they're all starting to open up and we have the ability to bring, so, I book for 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6, 7, 8, down the way. So just mostly was to get people in there. Everybody loved it. We do it on a Friday night. And the response was that I've asked the businesses, what does that do to your night when we do this? This is what I call a um, high impact, low amount of work to do
Yeah,
this.
low hanging
High
fruit.
impact. Yeah, but it's a high impact yield. Okay.
Mhm.
So I don't have to do a lot of work to make this happen on a Friday night. But in the end, we have the businesses have reported a 30% increase, a 50%, a 50%, a 70% increase every time we do this event.
And what type of music are you doing? And are you calling or calling on just your local people or people
No, I
coming
call
down
on
from
everybody from 2 hours away because we're trying to be a destination. We are a destination location. I'm not going to say try. We are a destination location, and so what I'm looking at is bringing in, yes, local too. We do it too. It's not like, so you got 4 or 5 acts a night, so I can move from all over the place. But with us being right in the middle of everywhere, right?
Yep.
Kansas City,
Yeah.
Tulsa,
It's not, I
Joplin,
mean, it's kind of like
right in the middle.
you're equidistant from
All
like
of them.
Tulsa and
Joplin, Wichita, Kansas
Joplin
City,
and Eureka
Topeka.
Springs and the Oklahoma music scene is so
It's on
rich.
fire.
I
Yeah.
love going to Tulsa.
Yeah,
For
I love Tulsa. Yeah.
music. Yeah.
So yeah, we book singer-songwriters. It's super easy, stripped down. The ones for Friday night crawls are self-sufficient. They come in, play for 50 minutes, and then you move to the next place.
Well, we've talked about some education, we've talked about collaboration. Let's talk about mentorship. You talked about your dad and what a mentor he was to you. Have
Yes.
have you been in a position to mentor anyone?
I think very
That's something you would
organically.
be open to.
Well, I mean, I've taught lots of classes. I think that's kind of a mentorship. I've taught a lot of people how to play guitar. And right now, one of the things I'm working on, and I think mentorship and education are very closely related, but
Right.
I'm working with a student out of USD 257, which is Iola, Kansas. He's a writer. He's a state champion in forensics, and so he is wanting to put together a song. And so I am working with him right now for him to record a song and get it on Spotify. So he comes 2 days a week. We sit and talk about songwriting. He's free flowing with me of his thoughts of what he wants his branding to be. So yeah, I talk about branding. What's his 1 year plan, 3 year plan, and it's really just an open dialogue. This is also an experiment. None of the career and technical classes have ever done music production as one of the technology pathways. So,
That's one
so
of
we're
the
really
options.
lucky. It's
Yeah.
phenomenal, and this guy, we're just hanging with him, and can't wait for him to put his stuff out. He's really smart and talented.
Well, you're really smart and talented too. I love the way your media looks. Your web page is beautiful. It's
Thank you.
very easy to navigate around.
Okay,
Are you doing all of that on your own
I
or?
am. Yes, this is all things I learned since 2019. Once I knew that maybe I would be doing this more, not just that I did the album and Kate and the fair wanted me to play, Kansas State Fair. Then I realized, okay, if I'm going to book, people would say to me, "Where's your website? Where's your music page? Where's your?" And so really everybody's told me what I need, and the moment I hear it, I'm like, well, if I want to do this, I probably should try to do this. So the website is Bandzoogle. It's easy to navigate, but it's kind of like Wix, but more specific to bands.
What is your 1 or 2 year plan right now?
This year, well, last year was for me to get comfortable with other people live because I've never played with people. I just have been by myself. I've been
Mhm.
being rurally isolated, you just do not have the choice of all your friends being musicians, like in Tulsa. I And so, you take it, you get a little bit here and there. So I did that last year. This year, my plan is to just really dig into those collaborations and become a better musician. I've been a rhythm guitarist for a long time. I'm now playing harmonica a little bit. I'm learning. I have a great friend that's been really teaching me how to open my mind for picking out leads and stuff. And I just never really tried it, but I'm smart enough to do it. So just got to see if my little fingers are
Yeah. I think
fast enough to do
I
it.
think you're inspirational. I tell people all the time, it- it's not too late to learn these things and to do it. I
No,
mean, I tell people I didn't start my broadcast career till I was 59 years old. I didn't start my
see,
podcast till I was 65. I mean, it's you're really only limited by your own parameters, and
exactly.
I
I
think it
say
has.
make sure you have friendships that are in this creative flow that you are in, because I wouldn't have, that's a piece I didn't have either. But now that I've been playing music everywhere, so many of my friends are artists and music in all different ways, all different ways. And all it has done is come back to music. Even if you're a photographer, videographer, all
Right.
of it comes how I can equate it to music. And they want to know me too. And so my mind is expanded. So I absolutely agree with you.
Well, I think well, I don't think, I know that was the whole impetus behind us putting together the Heartland Song Network in the first place.
Okay.
We went to Folk Alliance, our origin stories. We went to Folk Alliance when it was down in New Orleans, and Danny Powell, my partner and co-founder, went to one of the conference panel discussions that kind of was loosely based upon what it is you need, or what it is we're looking for from an artist.
Mhm.
What it is you need to have in your toolkit for us to represent you, whether we're a booking agent or a manager or
See?
recording. And so they had all these people up on the dais that were, represented all kinds of disciplines within the music industry. And I was not present, but Danny said it didn't take about 5 or 10 minutes for the thing to get totally out of control because the people in the audience saying, we were doing all these things that you're telling us to do, and it's still not working for us.
Okay. Okay.
I've been in this business for 30 years and I'm not any farther up
So
in the
what's the answer?
food chain. Well, I don't think there was any answer, but when we were driving home from New Orleans, Danny said, I'm going to just put it out there on social media. I'm just going to ask the question to our generative friends on Facebook, what is it you need? What is it you don't have? And man, it was all over the place. But at the end of the day, it was pretty much we need education. We don't know. We don't even know what we don't know. We might be
Right.
world class.
I say
We,
that all the time. No, no, you don't
yeah,
know.
we might be world class musicians, but we're in first grade, when it comes to um,
Marketing or anything
yeah, the
else.
business side of it. But
Oh yeah.
I think that you're on the right track, and I'm so happy that they chose you as the Artist of the
I
Month
am
in
too. I was
January.
surprised.
I can't
Yeah,
wait to
thank
see
you.
what's next, and we'll have this video up on our YouTube channel
Okay.
shortly. And just thank you again for your time, and I can't wait to see what's
Absolutely.
next.
Okay. Well, I'll be up there in the Kansas City area on March 15th at Kobe's.
Okay, all right. Well, you have a
Okay.
great rest of your evening, and stay
Okay.
warm.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right,
Bye.
bye bye.
Saying goodbye, ain't that